Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas with you this morning, visiting with the gals from Senior Care Advisors, Lynn Ricker, Jane Varant. We need to be prepared to meet with you when you come take a look at what we've got and how we're doing.
Yeah.
Tell us what we ought to have on hand and what we should plan on as far as time spent together.
When we go out to do a consultation, normally that consultation will an average of 2 hours. It could be a little less, depending on if there isn't really a whole lot to need to be looked at, or it could go longer. We've been at consultations as long as 3 and 4 hours, depending on the volume of what needs to be gone through. We always want to look at bank accounts because we need to see what the flow of money in and out is. And we always like to look at the date of admittance to the facility, whether it's the hospital and then to the nursing home. We need to see what kind of activity has gone on there. We like to look at the life insurance policies to see what type they are and what their value is. Mm-hmm. Any other assets that are out there, 401ks, CDs, we like to know what your housing expenses are. Your income is important. And also, if you have a prepaid burial in cemetery lots.
Right.
We basically are digging into your life. We want to know everything that went on with you, especially since the nursing home admittance, and definitely questioning what went on in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. No judgment, I'm sure, though, right?
No,
because, you're not going to take anybody to task for going to Disney World a few times.
No.
Okay.
People don't realize, yes. And that's the problem. People don't realize that if someone goes into a nursing home that, okay, I gave my kids $10,000 each 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, who
Suddenly
would have thought
you can't
that 3
get
years?
Medicaid.
Yeah, that 3 years from now I'm going to be in a nursing home.
Yes.
So, and the rules are different for single individuals and couples. A lot of couples, husbands and wives, they hear stories that, I'm going to lose all my money. That's not true. That is not true at all. Used to be, but not anymore.
It did used to be. When my grandmother went in, they pretty much took everything
Yes.
and then, okay, now what's yours is ours.
Yes.
And you get to live here.
Yes.
And that was great. It was, food and care and a roof over their head. And
right.
But you had nothing of your own. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not the case now?
Well, single individuals, the resource limit for a single individual to be in a nursing home and qualify for Medicaid, they cannot have more than $2,000 in assets.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, liquid assets.
So,
single individual or widowed.
So do you go on a
widower.
shopping spree or what do you do?
Well, there's things that the money can be spent on legally.
Okay.
As far as, like Lynn had mentioned before, prepaid burials or if you're paying off a house or if you need some things, those are
all. But not gifting the children.
Gifting, period.
Oh, that seems kind of harsh.
Yeah. But husbands and wives, each case is different because it depends how much they have as a couple.
All right. I am unclear, and I hope I'm not the only one, exactly the difference between Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay.
What is the difference?
Medicare is an entitlement program that everyone is entitled to at age 65. So it's a government program with Part A and Part B. Medicare Part A, you have to have worked a certain number of quarters, as far as Social Security is concerned, to qualify for Medicare A, which is free. Okay, Medicare B, everyone is entitled to at 65, but there is a premium that you have to pay. And I believe in 2020 it's going up to $144.40, I believe is the new premium.
Part B.
Part B. Part B is medical.
Right. And then there's the D and there's all kinds of alphabet
Medicare
soup.
D is for drugs.
Okay.
And Medicaid, if you're eligible for Medicare, Medicaid does not pay for your drugs anymore. You have to get a Part D prescription coverage. And that is something that is required by Medicare.
You're using Medicare, then you can still gift to your children.
If you're not on Medicaid.
If you're not on, you can do both at the same time?
Yes, people will be eligible because everybody usually who is in a nursing home for the most part is eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid because they're either disabled or they're over 65.
Okay.
Medicare, if you go from a hospital into a nursing facility and you are on what they call skilled care, Medicare will pay for up to 100 days in the nursing home. The first 20 days are at 100%. Up to the other 80 days is only at 80%, and then the family would be required to pay the additional 20% out of pocket or with a secondary insurance. Medicare is only good for the first 100 days. After that ends, now you have to look at private pay or Medicaid if you don't have the money to pay privately. That doesn't mean you will absolutely get 100 days of Medicare in a nursing home. It's based on if you're participating in the therapies and rehab, or if you no longer can go forward. If it's not doing you any good, they will stop the Medicare payment. And now you could need Medicaid or private pay sooner than that 100 days.
Who decides if it's no longer doing you any good?
Usually it's the therapists and the nursing home employees and the doctor involved.
Yeah, they usually have a review team that comes in like once a week or every 2 weeks and says, okay, this person is still making progress, or they have plateaued, so Medicare is not going to pay any longer.
And that's comes about pretty quickly because it's a weekly review.
Yeah.
So you could end up going along just fine on Medicare, and then they find that you're either refusing to participate or it's not doing any good. So now you've got a week. They'll usually, what they end up thinking, what the client thinks or family thinks is, okay, Medicare stopped, I have to take this person home. And a lot of times they get into that panic mode at that point. I can't take them home, I can't take care of them, so what do I do next? I either have to come up with money to pay privately, or I have to apply for Medicaid quickly. So that's where we end up.
That's where you come in.
Coming in there. Right.
Yes.
That's
Because
the panic.
I was going to say, because Medicaid is a program that's based on income and asset requirements. That's how you have to qualify through
Well,
income.
let's nail
and
those down. Okay.
Okay.
What assets count for Medicaid eligibility?
Everything.
Somebody
not your
can look at everything.
personal items,
Okay.
but such as home, vehicles, life insurance, money in the bank, savings, checking, stocks, bonds, IRAs, 401ks, annuities. I mean,
Yeah. A revocable trust
Mm-hmm.
is a countable asset.
So all of this added together cannot add up to more than $2,000?
Well, that's for a single person,
Okay.
the $2,000. A married couple, they take everything. And usually it's a 50-50 division. Like if they would have $100,000 in all of their assets combined, as a rule, they would have to spend down to $50,000. And that's spend down to, not just spend 50, because obviously income is still coming in there, and that keeps getting added to the amount that's there of assets.
When you say income is still coming in, can you still be earning and be on Medicaid, or are you talking about Social Security
I'm
checks
talking
and so
about
forth?
Social Security, pensions, VA benefits.
Total retirement.
Total retirement. We do have situations where it's a husband and wife where the wife might still be working and the husband's in the facility. That is a different budgeting system that we have to do as far as that's concerned.
And let's say they just have a neat hobby that earns them money. They write or they carve or they do crafting. That income counts
As
too?
far
Medicaid
as the nursing
counts at
home
all?
person, they count all the income.
Everything.
Everything. Yes, every penny gets counted.
So you want to take it down to $2,000, but do you? Well, I guess you.
Well, if you're looking at being in a nursing facility, you don't, if that's the situation you're in, that you're in a nursing facility, you do not have the money to pay privately, you don't have a choice but to be below $2,000 and get Medicaid.
Yeah, because most nursing homes, unfortunately, if your cost is $7,500 a month and there's not any payment coming to them, at some point in time, they're going to give a 30-day discharge notice for non-payment.
Oh, my. So if you own your home and you're thinking, okay, well, I'll do all this and I'll go into the nursing facility and everything, must you sell your house?
The house will, this is really based on how long you're going to be in the nursing home.
And
if you're
who
just
knows?
there for a rehab situation,
Right.
you don't need to worry about getting your home sold. If this looks like a long-term situation and your children know you're going to be in there long-term, you're basically in a situation where you have to sign what they call an intent to return home letter, which buys you a year to really get that house cleaned out and get it sold. One of the most important things about selling a home, though, is it has to be sold for 100% of its either appraised value or the auditor's office value. Whichever is lower, you must sell it for 100% of that value. Otherwise, they consider that as you gave away money that could have helped pay for your nursing home care.
But no hanging on to the house, taking Medicaid so that the kids can sell the house and split the proceeds later. Or can you?
No, well, if it's a husband and wife situation, whoever is at home, the house is exempt as long as they're living there.
They're home.
House is exempt as long as someone's
for a couple.
home.
As long
okay.
as
For
the
a couple, yeah. For an
Right.
individual, unfortunately, it's not.
Okay. So both people need to stay healthy and at home
Right.
for
Yes.
as long as possible.
Absolutely.
This is the plan, right?
Right, that is the
Exactly.
plan.
So exercise, get plenty of sleep, eat right, drink your water.
Exactly.
And then if things go sideways, we can call you lovely ladies. And how do we get a hold of you and how do we get more information?
We have phone numbers.
Okay,
Mine
let's
is,
give those.
Lynn is 330-904-5897.
And my number, Jane, is 330-268-2588.
Do you have a website?
We do have a website. It's called seniorcare.com.
Seniorcare.com.
Yes.
And or I'm sure someone, if they're driving and they can't write anything down, you can just Google
Seniorcareadvisors.com.
seniorcareadvisors.com.
And they can Google it. Yes.
Okay. Seniorcareadvisors.com. And don't worry, it's always the website that throws everyone off. Never,
exactly.
no problem. Seniorcareadvisors.com.
Right.
So don't even bother going to Facebook. Just go to seniorcareadvisors.com or give them a call. You can reach Lynn at 330-904-5897 or call Jane at 330-268-2588. Lynn Ricker, Jane Ferrant, thank you so much for all
Thank
you do
you.
in our community.
Thank you,
Thank you
Susie.
for
We
having
appreciate
us.
it.